So the fourth section of the topic is about compounds of elements of group 16, 17, 18. Out of that group 16, we will be studying the compounds of sulfur, that is sulfur dioxide and H2SO4, sulfuric acid. From group 17, we will be studying about HCl, hydrogen chloride. And in group 18, we will be studying about some compounds of xenon. So I think most of the information in this part will be something new for you, and we'll learn a lot of tricks also in this section. The first section is study of sulfur dioxide. We talk about its preparation, then properties, physical, chemical, and then uses. That's how you will take every section. Sulfur dioxide can be prepared by two ways. Number one is from raw sulfur. So by simply burning sulfur in air, that means oxygen, you will get sulfur dioxide. Then another industrial method is from most of the sulfides which are naturally present. Most common can be zinc sulfide or iron sulfide. So for example, zinc sulfide can be burnt to produce zinc oxide and sulfur dioxide, and iron sulfide can also give you iron oxide with sulfur dioxide. Here you have to remember the balancing properly for the reactions. Next, we have physical properties. Sulfur dioxide is, perhaps you know, is a colorless gas and it has a very bad smell. This sulfur dioxide is a poisonous gas and it's highly soluble in water. And when you dissolve this in water, what we generate is called H2SO3 sulfurous acid. Sulfur dioxide can liquefy, and the condition for liquefaction are 2 atmosphere. The boiling point of the liquid sulfur dioxide is 463 Kelvin. I hope both these sections are quite easy, no doubt in this. We come to the chemical reactions, chemical properties. One of the most important industrially used is called reaction with chlorine. This can react with chlorine. A little bit of carbon is necessary, charcoal, as a catalyst, and it produces SO2Cl2, that's called sulfuryl chloride. Since sulfur dioxide can absorb chlorine very fast, it is known by the name in chemistry as anti-chlor agent. Anti-chlor is a substance which can absorb chlorine and destroy it. So wherever you have a reaction wherein chlorine is remaining excess and you have to destroy it, sulfur dioxide is sprayed in that and then chlorine is removed from it. Another reaction which we have is with oxygen. Sulfur dioxide can react with oxygen. Catalyst needed is V2O5 and it produces sulfur trioxide. This is another industrially important process because you get H2SO4 produced over here. So one of the steps of H2SO4 in contact process is this sulfur dioxide converted into sulfur trioxide. So very simple reaction to remember. SO2 with oxygen forming SO3. Now two reactions with sodium compounds. One is with NaOH that forms Na2SO3. SO3 is sulfite. SO4 is sulfate, as you know. Then reaction with sulfide itself. So what you have prepared in the upper one, suppose it continues reacting ahead, then you can get a step like this. And this will convert it into sodium hydrogen sulfide, NaHSO3. We come to the chemical reactions more. And one of another important property is reducing property. For example, if you start with a ferric compound like ferric chloride, for example, it can react with sulfur dioxide and it can convert it into ferrous. So ferric becomes ferrous. If you start with potassium permanganate, you will convert it into manganese sulfate, and iodine is converted into HI. Now observe over here what conversions are occurring. In first reaction, ferric is getting converted into ferrous plus 3, 2 plus 2. Manganese plus 7 is converted into manganese plus 2. And iodine with oxidation state 0 converted into minus 1. Everywhere oxidation state has decreased. We call it as reducing property. Next, we have the structure of sulfur dioxide. It has an angular structure and the angle is slightly less than 120 degree. There are, you can see, two resonating structures of sulfur dioxide. In that, one of the bonds is made by d pi p pi bonding. So wherever you see a double bond, it will contain one sigma and another pi. So the pi bond which is produced here is not due to p and p orbitals, but due to the d orbital of sulfur. So this is the structure and resonating form you need to by heart. Any doubt so far? Everyone is clear up to this? Everyone is there in the class, absolutely active,
Yes, sir.
or
Yes.
sleeping and just listening to it? Next are uses of sulfur dioxide. First is sulfur dioxide has a very great property of removing color. So for removing coloration from any substance like sugar, for example, sugar when you manufacture, it's actually yellowish in color. So the color which comes from jaggery. So to remove that yellow color and make it into white, sulfur dioxide is used. But practically it has a trouble that that sugar might contain sulfur particles in it due to reaction, making it a little poisonous. That is why nowadays refining sugar with sulfur dioxide is actually banned by most of the countries, including India. Then it has an action of bleaching, but not all the materials, only wool and silk. We saw it already. It is used as anti-chlor. That means it can react with chlorine very quickly and it can destroy it. Sulfur dioxide is used as even a preservative for dry fruits and nuts. Manufacture of these chemicals, of course, sulfur chemicals, and liquid sulfur dioxide is solvent for a lot of organic and inorganic substances. After study of sulfur dioxide, now we take one of the most important for exams, study of sulfuric acid. Sulfuric acid, perhaps if you know, is made from the process called contact process. Now, this is a diagram which is industrial block diagram for contact process. This diagram does not come in exam at all, but it's needed to understand the process, how that takes place. Now, we are only going to see the different parts of it, what is active, what is needed for us, and not go into the entire details of the process. The name of the process, as we said, is called contact process. And major three steps we are going to discuss in this. Step number one is roasting of sulfur. Now you can take here sulfur, sulfide ore, roll sulfur, that means natural sulfur, anything. This happens in this tower number one, you can see, where I have block marked here. This is the tower where the reaction takes place. So sulfur plus oxygen giving sulfur dioxide, or iron pyrite giving sulfur dioxide. If you recollect, these are the same reactions what we did under preparation of sulfur dioxide. Same reactions I'm writing here. In step number two, now sulfur dioxide is converted into sulfur trioxide. This reaction also we saw under the reaction of sulfur dioxide. So if you know SO2 reactions very well, you can just reuse them over here. You can see in this industrial process, tower number 1 is conversion of SO2, and directly tower number 4 is for conversion of SO3. In between towers are basically to maintain amount of SO2, reuse whatever amount is not used and reuse it again to produce SO2 and so on. So chemically, they are not important things. They are just industry useful. So we are not going into details of tower number 2 and 3 here. Now we come to step number 3. The conditions for second step, that means V2O5, are the reaction is exothermic. It needs a temperature of 720 Kelvin and a pressure of 2 bar. In these conditions, although reaction is reversible, favorable reaction will be forward direction. I was talking about these conditions only for step number 2. So 720 Kelvin, 2 bar pressure, and catalyst V2O5 are maintained over here in this set. Let us come to step 3, the production of oleum, which is happening in this last chamber. Here, SO3 obtained from the previous chamber is converted into sulfuric acid, but that unfortunately doesn't happen properly. So we think SO3 plus H2O giving H2SO4, that step doesn't take place. That is why SO3 is mixed with sulfuric acid to produce oleum. Later on, dilution of this oleum with water produces actually sulfuric acid. So what actually we manufacture from contact process is not in fact sulfuric acid. It's oleum H2S2O7. In fact, they sell also in market sometimes oleum directly. If needed, then after adding water, it can be converted into sulfuric acid. If sulfuric is produced after dilution, it can go up to 96 to 98% concentrated. Now, this is a too much high level of concentration. Even in laboratory, we never make use of such a highly concentrated H2SO4. What we have in our lab is hardly 5 to 10% concentrated, which you can see is much lower than what you get in industry. For exam point of view, you must know all the steps correctly, step 1, step 2, step 3. You can get short notes on them. You can get only reactions to write. They can ask you only 1 or 2 steps out of them. So this is how they usually ask contact process.
In HSC, this is there.
Yes, of course, these are the whole syllabus is same. HSC, JEE, NEET, entire syllabus is same.
So
People of में कुछ
ask
अलग नहीं है.
anything about the diagram. They give the diagram on.
Diagram, नहीं, diagram based questions usually are not seen anywhere because this is too complex diagram. But if possible, this diagram is there in NCERT also, GTB also. So अगर उन्होंने सोचा कभी कि पेपर थोड़ा कुछ अलग बनाने का है, they can definitely set a question on this. You know, NEET students get questions on diagram based thing. Up till now in physics, chemistry, maths, they have never done such a thing. But it's a possibility. कभी भी आ सकता है. But it's not very difficult. You should know about tower 1, tower 2, sorry, tower 1, tower 4, and only last one. Rest of the things we don't need.
Oh, can you repeat the V2O5 full form? Name of.
Vanadium pentoxide. Vanadium pentoxide.
Okay, sir.
Chalo, we come to the physical chemical properties and then uses as usual. Sulfuric acid is a colorless, dense liquid. It's very heavy. When you pour it, you understand how much dense it is. And it is an oily liquid, looks very much like oil. When you pour also, you get a feeling of oil. Density is very high, you can see. Freezing point, boiling point, we usually don't need to remember these values. Sulfuric is very, very corrosive, one of the most dangerous chemicals, as you know, and it produces severe burns. If you know, if a drop also falls, it will give you a very burning sensation. The reason is the moment it falls on your skin, it tries to absorb water from it because it has a dehydrating nature. So wherever it will fall, it will try to extract water from it. So when from your skin water is being extracted, you obviously feel burnt. So that is the reason sulfuric acid is one of the most dangerous chemicals. Whenever we dilute sulfuric acid, always acid is added to water. That also with continuous stirring and extremely slowly. What happens if you do a reverse? Anyone knows?
It will squirt up on your face.
Yes, it will absolutely burst like firecracker, and it will completely come on face, giving you tremendous accidental blisters and all. So it's a highly exothermic reaction. That is why remember acid is added drop by drop or very slowly with stirring to water. You will practically not do this thing anytime, but as a fact you should know this. Chalo, uses में sulfuric, perhaps if you have heard, sulfuric acid is known as king of chemicals. And there is a thing in economics that in commerce they say that country's progress is understood by the manufacture and uses of sulfuric acid in a particular country. So the country which uses, manufactures, and sells more sulfuric acid is going to progress more because all our daily life needed things, agriculture related things also are connected with sulfuric. You can see that in the very first use, ammonium sulfate, superphosphate, these commonly used fertilizers are made from sulfuric acid. Pigments, paints, dyestuffs made from sulfuric acid. Petrol refining, detergents, metallurgy, storage battery of our car batteries, and of course a laboratory reagent. You name a field and sulfuric acid is over there. It's one of the most commonly used chemical, highly dangerous but highly useful. Nitrocellulose products are used as explosives. So you can see everywhere H2SO4 is present. We come to chemical reactions. First property of sulfuric which should come to your mind is obviously acidic property. Sulfuric acid can ionize in two steps. Although we say that H2SO4 is a dibasic acid, dissociation is not so simple. When H2SO4 breaks down into first one, H plus, its dissociation constant value is extremely high. It's 10 raised to 1, greater than that, in fact. But the second one, HSO4 minus, which is produced, breaking down is very poor. So you can see theoretically, if you look at it, it almost behaves like a monoprotic acid. मतलब उसका पहला H plus ब्रेक करना बहुत इजी है, सेकंड को ब्रेक करना डिफिकल्ट है. That is why you have a lot of chemicals with hydrogen sulfate base. So sodium hydrogen sulfate, potassium hydrogen sulfate, calcium hydrogen sulfate, such chemicals exist. And we never get directly sodium sulfate, calcium sulfate, potassium sulfate. क्योंकि ये बनाना थोड़ा इजी होता है HSO4. Second is popular one, oxidizing property. Metals, non-metals, everything react with sulfuric and they convert themselves into sulfur dioxide. So copper with sulfuric acid, sulfur dioxide, sulfur, sulfur dioxide, carbon, sulfur dioxide. And what happens to them originally? Copper gets converted into copper sulfate, sulfur gets converted into sulfur dioxide, and H2SO4 is releasing sulfur dioxide. That's why you can see here 3 times. Carbon produces its own acid, carbon dioxide, acidic oxide, of course. Now, this oxidizing property is not a very straightforward property. That depends on what type of concentration you are using. Are you using dilute, concentrated, low temperature, high temperature, dilute condition and room temperature, it will be a weak oxidizing agent like HCl. So now that particular sulfuric acid will not be very effective. It can convert Fe into Fe plus 2, but it's not able to convert Fe plus 2 to Fe plus 3. If you take hot and concentrated H2SO4, then it can even act as a very, very strong oxidizing agent also. Let us convert to more properties. Dehydrating property. As we know that dehydrating property means loss of water. So concentrated sulfuric acid is a very strong dehydrating agent. It can remove water from most of the compounds. For example, sugar can react with it and carbon remains behind. For example, here you can see sugar has a formula C12H22O11. In presence of sulfuric acid, it releases carbon and water. This carbon, what you get is called sugar charcoal, and the process is called charring. Sulfuric can react with different salts. For example, sodium chloride produces sodium hydrogen sulfate. KNO3 produces KHSO4. Calcium fluoride can produce calcium sulfate. You can see over here in first two reactions, we haven't gone up to sulfate stage. It has gone only up to hydrogen sulfate stage only. It can react with other acids also. Like for example, HBr reacts with sulfuric to release bromine. HI can react with sulfuric acid to release iodine. To the extent the reaction is not mentioned here, but it can even react with nitric acid also. And that is a reaction. It is used in the nitration processes in organic chemistry. We go for study of HCl. Sulfur chemistry is now completely over. Study of HCl. There are two methods we are going to study. First, laboratory method. This is reacting with normal salt, sulfuric acid reaction. And at 420 Kelvin, it produces sodium hydrogen sulfate and first set of HCl is released. This NaHSO4 further reacts with sulfuric to form sulfate and HCl. If you can understand, these are the two steps happening, and it's actually speaking the replacement of sulfuric acid step by step. So H2SO4 first got converted into NaHSO4. This NaHSO4 then converted into H2SO4, and HCl is getting released over here. Physical properties में HCl is a colorless gas with very suffocating smell, pungent odor. It can liquefy to a liquid. Boiling point is very low, 189 Kelvin. Freezing point also is poor, 159 Kelvin. HCl, as we know, is highly soluble in water, and that aqueous solution we call as hydrochloric acid. Chemical reactions. HCl, as we know, is highly soluble in water, and moreover, it ionizes also. So Ka value you can see is even higher than sulfuric acid. Sulfuric acid was just merely 10. This is 10 raised to 7. Aqueous solution, as we know, is called hydrochloric acid, and it's one of the strong acids. I think this reaction, I don't have to say anything. It's one of the easiest reaction. HCl plus NH3 giving NH4Cl. HCl can react along with nitric acid with noble metals, and that mixture is called aqua regia. This set is there even in the nitric acid set also. So gold reacts with this mixture HCl HNO3 to form gold chloride complex. Platinum reacts with the mixture to form platinum chloride complex. For HSC, this set is important. In JEE NEET, they have never asked this thing up till now. Reaction with salts of weak acids. HCl can react with the salts of weak acid like carbonate, hydrogen carbonate, and sulfides. We will see one by one. Sodium carbonate produces sodium chloride. Sodium hydrogen carbonate produces NaCl, and sulfate will also create NaCl. You can see wherever we are using carbonate or hydrogen carbonate, byproduct is H2O and CO2. And where we are using sulfate, byproducts are H2O and SO2. After completing the compounds of chlorine and sulfur, we now move on to compounds of group 18. I'm sure this is a section which we have never heard of before in any level. Group 18 elements, we know that they are chemically inert. Then we have been always told in school level that they never form any compounds. But actually speaking, it's a false information. Krypton and xenon can react with fluorine and they form their fluorides. These are very reactive compounds, but they are very stable also. And due to NS2-NP6 configuration, the compounds are not easily formed. Krypton, xenon, and radon, they have comparatively low values of ionization enthalpy. That is the reason they can actually produce compounds. Krypton and radon can form only one compound each, KrF2 and RnF2. Helium, neon, argon up till now have not able to produce any compounds. Simple reason, very high value of ionization enthalpy. What we are going to study is only xenon compounds. And we will just first take up a small review how these things were discovered, and it's quite interesting to understand. Two scientists, Neil Bartlett and Lohmann, they were actually studying something else and accidentally they prepared this compound. What they were doing was actually a reaction of oxygen with platinum hexafluoride, O2 with PTF6. Bartlett observed that molecule O2 has a similar ionization enthalpy as xenon. So they tried to make a compound of xenon with PTF6. And Bartlett reported the compound as this formula, XePTF6, ionic substance. But in recent time, they understood that this formula is not like this and it has a different structure. It is XeF plus PT2F11 times. Now, currently, we have studied much easier and different compounds, and we are not going to study this complicated compound in our class. So let us first of all make a list of all the compounds we are going to study, and the list is quite large. It is xenon difluoride, tetrafluoride, hexafluoride. I hope everyone is paying attention. Xenon difluoride, tetrafluoride, hexafluoride. Under oxides, we have dioxide, trioxide, tetraoxide. Under oxydifluorides or oxyfluorides, there are different combinations and ratios. For example, oxydifluoride, oxytetrafluoride. Then dioxydifluoride, dioxytetrafluoride, trioxydifluoride. Now I will give you over here a little simple way of remembering these things. You can see in all the compounds, xenon is only single atom. Single atom. Remember the fluorine or oxygen amounts. For example, first set you can remember numbers 2, 4, 6. So you can see difluoride tetrafluoride, hexafluoride. Under oxides, you remember 2, 3, 4, difluoride, dioxide, trioxide, tetroxide. Now here you need to remember numbers of O and F as pairs. For example, in first set, the pairs are 1, 2, 1, 4. Second one, 2, 2, 2, 4. And in third, only 1, 3, 4. Now, I'm sorry, this is 3, 2. Unless you remember these things, then it will be highly confusing for you to know the things correctly. Right? I will just do the correction out here right now. This is 3, 2. Now we are going to study the fluorides and oxides and few of the last set with their preparation, properties, and hybridization structure of all the compounds. So let us see first xenon fluoride information. Xenon plus fluorine, if you react with nickel tube and 400 degrees Celsius, it will produce XeF2. Same xenon and fluorine, but in a ratio 1:5 at 400 degrees Celsius and 5 to 6 atmosphere produces tetrafluoride. You can see the slight change in condition gives you a different compound. And with electric discharge at minus 80 degrees Celsius, it produces also tetrafluoride only. With electric discharge but low temperature, produces hexafluoride. Obviously, what is important here are the conditions on the arrow. क्योंकि बाकी सब कुछ सेम है, xenon plus fluorine, उसमें कुछ बड़ी बात नहीं है. What you have to know are the conditions. Chemical reactions of xenon fluorides. Xenon tetrafluoride with dioxygen difluoride produces hexafluoride. With water undergoes hydrolysis to produce pure xenon. With phosphorus pentafluoride, it produces a complex ion. How the reaction must have taken place here? This fluorine is lost connected here. So this became XeF plus, this became PF6 minus, and they form an ionic bond between them. This XeF2 plus antimony pentafluoride also forms a similar thing. लेकिन यहाँ पे देखो आपका फ्लोरीन जो है वो एडिशनल चेंज हुआ है. So there is a small correction I will make here. This has to be 4 times. Let me show you the reaction once again. Yes, the conversion you can see. This XeF4 has donated one fluorine atom to antimony and it has produced this thing. Moreover, same manner, hexafluoride reacts with this to form the corresponding XeF7 minus. The reaction of this metal fluoride could be with all group 1 elements you can see except lithium.
Sir, the
बोलो.
reaction preparation of this xenon ka, we have to remember this reactions condition.
Without that you can't get any marks in exam. क्योंकि सभी reaction में xenon plus fluorine ही है. So what is special in them are the arrow conditions only.
Yes.
Chalo, we come to the structures of xenon fluorides. We will take up group wise now. XeF2, XeF4, XeF6. So under XeF2, the structure looks like this. You can see this is a linear structure. Xenon is connected with 2 fluorine in a straight line way. And in these 3 positions, there are 3 lone pairs present. We will talk about hybridization on the next slide together. XeF4 has a structure square planar. It has 2 lone pairs. And XeF6 has a structure distorted octahedral. Oxidation state is +6. Now, what we should know are about the hybridization things. So I have taken together all the hybridizations here. XeF2, sp3d. Now recollect, sp3d means it will produce totally 3 plus 1 plus 1, 5 bonds. But out of 5, we have only 2 groups connected. So remaining 3 will be lone pairs. Here we have 3 plus 2, 5 and 1, 6. Out of 6, only 4 are occupied. So there will be 2 lone pairs. And out of 7, 6 are occupied. There will be 1 lone pair. So once again, if you know these things, first is sp3d. 5 bonds were supposed to form. Only 2 are produced. So 3 lone pairs. Here 6 were about to form. Only 4 are produced. Remaining 2 lone pairs. Out of 7, 6 are produced. Only 1 lone pair. Diagrams are there for your exams to draw for HSC. We come for trioxide and oxidifluoride. It is also produced from xenon tetrafluoride by excessive hydrolysis. One of the product here is XeO3. Another way of producing is from xenon hexafluoride. It also produces trioxide. Xenon trioxide has sp3 hybridization, tetrahedral geometry, but there is one lone pair, just like ammonia structure almost. So it's called pyramidal structure. Then coming for sample xenon oxidifluoride structures, xenon tetrafluoride with water at peculiarly 80 degrees Celsius produces XeOF2. XeF6 also can produce XeOF4. Out of that, we are doing structure of XeOF4, xenon oxytetrafluoride, square pyramidal geometry, एंड xenon oxytetrafluoride का उन्होंने एक रिएक्शन आपके सिलेबस में रखा है विथ सिलिका. with water, XeO2F2, and this is the entire set of all oxides and oxidifluoride and all over here together. So these are all the hybridizations what we should know. Geometry is the expected shape and shape is including the lone pair. So see to it that you by heart this thing. JEE NEET students के लिए बहुत important है. We go to now last 2 points and our topic gets finished over here. We are completing the topic today, and since I can see today that many students are absent, and the topic is really important. I'm sure some of the NEET students had class today, so they have not attended. That's okay. But other students, just from laziness and lethargy, they have not attended. I'm sure that number is more. Okay, so every one of you attending or absent today have to write this entire lecture today itself and submit to me before tomorrow's lecture. This entire lecture, you can watch the video, do it and complete it, write it on Fullscape sheets, practice it. खाली contact process का diagram मत निकालना, उसमें सिर्फ paragraph लिखो. And rest everything, structures, tables, reactions, all the things you are going to write. Because exam point of view, ये सबसे बड़ा important part है आज का. Right? Those who are present also have to do it with more understanding properly. Those who are absent will learn for the first time and do it. It should reach before tomorrow 12 noon to my mobile phone. जिनका ये नहीं आएगा उनको कल के लेक्चर में बैठने को नहीं मिलेगा. Simple thing. Right?
So you send this PPT?
Of course, I'm sending lecture video also and PPT also. दोनों भेज रहा हूँ.
सर
हाँ बोल.
xenon dioxide का कुछ नहीं है क्या?
नहीं एक सेकंड. ये मैंने जो अभी लिखा है ना, ये अपने टेक्स्ट बुक में और एनसीईआरटी में जितना है मैंने सब स्लाइड्स पे डाला है. इससे थोड़ा एडिशनल रिएक्शंस है वो अपने प्रिंटेड नोट्स में मैंने रखे हैं, बट दे आर वेरी रेयरली आस्क्ड. सो है रिएक्शंस. मैं आपको नेक्स्ट लेक्चर में, मतलब आपका कल का लेक्चर नॉर्मल हो गया ना, तो ये चैप्टर का जेई का जितना एडिशनल पार्ट है वो सब नोट्स में से दिखाने वाला हूँ कल के लेक्चर में, आज नहीं। थोड़ा थोड़ा एक्स्ट्रा चीज आपको मैं सब मार्क करके दूंगा जो ये स्लाइड्स में कवर्ड नहीं लेकिन नोट्स में है वो सब कुछ, दैट आई एम गोइंग टू डू टुमारो इटसेल्फ। ओके, अभी ये सेक्शन में बहुत ट्रिक्स इसमें इन्वॉल्व किया है, सो इफ यू लर्न इट विद ट्रिक्स परहैप्स यू विल फाइंड इट इजियर, so please focus. We are going to study the acids, oxo acids of sulfur. पहली बात है कि ऑक्सो एसिड का मतलब क्या होता है? The element is present, there will be one or more double bond O and one or more OH groups. Such compounds are called oxo acids. Despite having OH group, they are all acidic in nature. They are not alkaline. This is not like NaOH and KOH. Don't imagine. वहां पे OH है वो बेस है, लेकिन यहाँ पे क्या होता है, ये जो एलिमेंट है सल्फर, क्लोरीन, इसका इलेक्ट्रोनेगेटिविटी बहुत हाई होता है. बिकॉज ऑफ दैट सल्फर ऑक्सीजन बॉन्ड इज रियली वेरी स्ट्रॉन्ग. और कौन सा बॉन्ड वीक हो जाता है? OH bond becomes weak. That is why OH bond can be broken to produce hydrogen ion. अभी जो मैंने बड़बड़ किया वो आपको यहां पे एक स्क्रीन पे दिखाता हूं. What I mean by this thing. If you consider any compound like this, S, double bond O, and two OH groups. What points I said right now, let me explain this. Here, sulfur's electronegativity is comparatively high. So, सल्फर ऑक्सीजन ये जो बॉन्ड है, ये बॉन्ड स्ट्रॉन्ग हो जाएगा, ब्रेक नहीं होगा, while this bond here becomes weak. So because of that, when we put this in water, hydrolysis reaction में क्या होगा देखो, this compound will break down this way and it will produce anion plus H plus. Given a chance, next also can break down. So such compounds are called oxo acids. So oxo acids का feature है number 1, they contain element double bond O, bond रहेगा. Number 2, they will contain element with OH groups. Number 3, they are acidic in nature. So oxygen present है इसके लिए oxo, acidic nature है इसके लिए acids. ग्रुप नंबर 15 में नाइट्रोजन, ग्रुप नंबर 16 में सल्फर और ग्रुप 17 में all halogens. They produce such oxo acids. So nitrogen के oxo acids we had already studied under that chapter. Here we are, I'm sorry, not nitrogen, I said by mistake, phosphorus. So phosphorus acid, phosphoric acid, that chart we had already done. Now this topic today we are going to do sulfur and halogen compounds. Those who want to take a screenshot, you can take of this. In your textbooks, they don't explain basically what are oxo acids. They just give a list of it. Now we need to really remember a lot of acids. And if you have a trick with you, perhaps it will go easy for you. अभी जो कंपाउंड आपको सामने दिख रहा है, can you tell me molecular formula of it? Anybody?
H2SO3.
Very simple, H2SO3. And this is the famous sulfuric acid. I'm sorry, sulfurous acid. You add one more oxygen in it, and this becomes the famous sulfuric acid. So, sulfurous and sulfuric are the two major compounds, oxo acids of sulfur. Whatever remaining compounds we study is basically a family of sulfuric acid only. Sulfurous also can form a family, but we are not studying in our syllabus. So let us see now sulfuric acid and look at the way I'm creating compounds one by one. Focus on sulfuric structure, sulfur in the center, two oxygen atoms with double bonds and two OH groups. Change number 1, add one oxygen to one of the OH groups. Can you see where I have added it? This is called peroxo monosulfuric acid. Now, formula generating is not very difficult. H2SO4 में आप एक ऑक्सीजन को ऐड करो तो आपको मिलेगा H2SO5. This has a trade name Carros acid. Coming back to sulfuric, replace one of the oxygen atom of double bond with sulfur. This is called thiosulfuric acid. Thia is a Latin name for sulfur. So it is a sulfuric acid with additional sulfur. Molecular formula you can clearly see. We are reducing one oxygen, increasing one sulfur. H2S2O3. यहां तक सबको क्लियर है? ये ट्रिक से आप याद रखो, आपको ये फॉर्मूले स्ट्रक्चर सब एग्जाम में ड्रॉ करने को आते हैं. You can remember it easily with a trick. Moreover, react now 2 moles of sulfuric acid with each other. Remove water from the center. What you get is this way. Can you see? This one part is 1 H2SO4 and this is second one. We can create a molecular formula of this, which is H2S2O7. This is the famous oleum.
Oleum.
Now perhaps you will understand, when we react oleum with water, we get sulfuric acid. So in contact process, we do a reverse reaction, isn't it? This is called disulfuric acid or pyrosulfuric acid. Third trade name, oleum.
Sir, how did we do oleum? Only we added O.
नहीं 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 समझा नहीं तेरे को रिएक्शन. एक सेकंड, आई विल शो यू हाउ वॉल्यूम फ्रॉम सल्फ्यूरिक इज जनरेटेड. ऐसा है, देख सल्फ्यूरिक का स्ट्रक्चर कैसे था. ये आपका पहला सल्फ्यूरिक मॉलिक्यूल, दिस इज सेकंड सल्फ्यूरिक मॉलिक्यूल. नाउ react them and lose water from the center. समझा कहां से गया ये वाटर मॉलिक्यूल? ये देख, ये वाला.
Yes, sir.
सो अभी देख क्या मॉलिक्यूल मिला. एवरीवन अंडरस्टूड दिस? जिनको नहीं समझा था, एवरीवन फॉलोड? ये ऑक्सीजन और ये रिमेनिंग पार्ट. So now this is H2S2O7. Some students remember this formula this way: H2SO4 plus H2SO4. तो ये हो गया H4S2O8. इसमें से H2O चला गया तो बचेगा H2S2O7. You know, this is another way of creating a formula in such cases. This is the famous oleum. और कॉन्टैक्ट प्रोसेस में क्या होता है, इसी ओलियम को हम लोग वाटर में जब ऐड करेंगे तो वी विल जनरेट सल्फ्यूरिक एसिड फ्रॉम दैट. कॉन्टैक्ट प्रोसेस का लास्ट स्टेप. Those who want can take a screenshot of this.
Sir, when we write HOH above the reaction, it is a product only, na byproduct, one of the.
माइनस लिखा है तो
हाँ,
प्लस लिखा है तो ऐड रिएक्ट किया ना. माइनस मतलब बाय प्रोडक्ट. Let us go ahead. More compounds of this now. अभी हम लोग सल्फ्यूरिक एसिड के ये 2 कंपाउंड्स किए थे. अभी ओलियम के 2 कंपाउंड्स करेंगे. तो ओलियम के स्ट्रक्चर पे ध्यान दो. ऑक्सीजन सेंटर में है और ये 2 साइड में ग्रुप्स. अभी जो ऊपर किया था वही करेंगे. इसमें सेंटर में एक ऑक्सीजन को ऐड करेंगे. देखो ये एडिशनल ऑक्सीजन को मैंने ऐड किया. सो दिस विल बी कॉल्ड परऑक्सी डाइसल्फ्यूरिक एसिड. H2S2O7 में एक ऑक्सीजन को ऐड करो. दिस इज कॉल्ड मार्शल्स एसिड. अभी आप ये ऊपर का और नीचे का कंपाउंड कंपेयर करो. So this is peroxy monosulfuric acid. This is peroxy disulfuric acid. दोनों को क्रिएट करने का तरीका सेम है. सल्फ्यूरिक में ऑक्सीजन ऐड करो, यहां ओलियम में ऑक्सीजन को ऐड करो. Then here we remove this central oxygen. So join this thing. This will be called dithionic acid. Thaya itself for once again. I hope if you remember it this way, you will find it really easy. यहाँ पे आप लोगों ने ये स्क्रीन पे 6 स्ट्रक्चर्स देखे हैं और पहले वाली स्क्रीन पे आपको सल्फ्यूरस का एक एडिशनल स्ट्रक्चर था. So total 7 structures to remember. We go for oxy acids of chlorine now. Now chlorine's oxy acids we had seen earlier also in the beginning of group 17. They can show oxidation state +1, +3, +5 and +7. And we had also seen the names hypohalous, halous, halic, perhalic. Now we have to remember कौन से कंपाउंड स्टेबल है उतने यहाँ पे लिखे हैं. जो फॉर्म नहीं होते या फिर अनस्टेबल है उनको मैंने क्रॉस मार्क किया है. तो देखिए फ्लोरीन में सिर्फ एक ही कंपाउंड बनेगा, हाइपोफ्लोरस. क्लोरीन इज अ मेंबर विच कैन प्रोड्यूस एवरीथिंग एंड रादर आई कैन से हैलस एसिड is only produced by chlorine and not by any other halogen. Right? I hope this observation you can know very well. Acidic strength keeps on increasing from +1 to +7 state. So hypohalous will be the weak acids, halous more, halic more, perhalic will be strongest. Their oxidizing power are exactly opposite. Let us come to the structures of them now. And this also you can remember with a trick. First remember basic hypochlorous ka structure, which is chlorine with a OH group. अभी सिर्फ क्लोरीन एटम पे ध्यान देते जाना, हम लोग इसमें ऑक्सीजन को इंक्रीज करेंगे. सो क्लोरस एसिड में देखो ये पार्ट मैंने सेम रखा है, यहां पे ऑक्सीजन को अटैच किया, एडिशनल डबल बॉन्ड O, और एक डबल बॉन्ड O को इंक्रीज करना, 2 हो गए क्लोरिक एसिड, और एक को ऐड करना पर क्लोरिक एसिड. सो आई एम सिंपली इंक्रीजिंग डबल बॉन्ड O. अभी जैसे मैं इसको याद रख रहा हूं, मतलब लिखने के टाइम हम लोग इसको इस तरह से याद रख सकते हैं. दिस इज Cl विथ अ OH. ये हो गया आपका हाइपोक्लोरस. बस अभी इसमें डबल बॉन्ड O इंक्रीज करते जाओ. फर्स्ट वन क्लोरस, क्लोरिक, पर क्लोरिक. आई होप एवरीवन अंडरस्टैंड दिस. सो ClOH में आप एक एक ऑक्सीजन को इंक्रीज करो, आपका मॉलिक्यूल इंक्रीज होते जाएगा स्ट्रक्चर. In all these structures, chlorine is sp3 hybridized only. This completes the entire topic of our